right? Okay, I want to take an angle at this. So let's talk about how you're going to do this, right? So this is how I suggest you go about this. Okay, so how do you increase a PLR course's value? I always say you want to turn it into something that your customer, can use. Number two, turn it into something specific. We just talked about that. Number three, here's the thing, right? Give it a deadline, right? Give it a deadline. Let me tell you what I mean by that. Well, and also, right, and I know that this, don't be quick to give resale rights. Don't always just, I mean, that should not be your fallback position. In some cases, you don't need to give resale rights. When you solve somebody's problem, you don't have to give resale rights to get them to buy it, right? Now again, yes, it is something they can use, but your value to the marketplace is in the problem you solve. And I would say that, you know, sometimes, and I've heard this, and again, this is that, well, you don't have to be an expert in order to do PLR. Yeah, you do. You have to know something, and you have to put together 2 sets of sales pages. So I would say it's not an easy thing to do resale rights or PLR. I mean, I would say it's easiest to solve a problem. Now let me tell you how you're going to do this. Okay, so let's say that you're solving the problem in Facebook. I'm going to say focus on something specific in Facebook. And what you're going to give people is you're going to turn the PLR into a daily system. So in other words, you can take, if you can break it into, I don't know, it'd be ambitious. You can break it into let's say into something they can do for X number of days. It's ambitious, but it's possible. But you'd need 365 lessons. Now, I said that I was going to try this at some point. You know, I do a year-long, literally a year-long thing, but I never got around to creating the 365 videos. But again, can you imagine what would happen if you hit the marketplace with a 365-day system of things that you have recorded for every day of the calendar year? Right? Again, it's not something that people do often. And if you want to have something where you got a USP, again, it's ambitious. Now, again, I know there's no guarantee it's going to sell, but you want to make a splash, right? Come to the marketplace with a daily system, right? A daily system. You can also break up a process over 1 year's time using 53 weekly modules. So in other words, you want to do Facebook, right? You want to take a specific problem you're solving, and you're to break that problem up over 52 weeks, right? 52 modules. Once a week, you're going to meet, and you're going to do it live, and then you're going to give out the recording, right? You can also do another way. You can do a 30-day challenge. So you're going to do 30 modules. So in other words, and I did this with 1,000 True Fans, the 30-day challenge I did this with, right? I did this with the Entrepreneur Mandate. And all these products were specific problems that I used a 30-day system, and then I spread out the content over 30 days. Now, it's not easy to do because you've really got to think through the steps that people need to take every day. But if you're talking about, okay, how do I differentiate the content? Take it and give it a deadline. You can do a year system. You can do a weekly system over a year. You can do a 30-day challenge, right? You can do, say that you are you're into personal development, right? Personally, I think personal development, I'm surprised I haven't seen anybody do this. They don't hurry up. I'm going to jump in it, and I'm not going to do it, right? I wish I could, right? If I could really think about how to do it, if there was something that kind of fit my particular way of doing stuff, I would do it. Do a 90-day challenge. And one of the reasons I know this sells is because Evan Pagan, every single cotton picking year, sells Wake Up Productive. And all it is it's personal development over 90 days from his perspective. Right? So again, if you want to take your PLR and turn it into something, you can do a 90-day challenge. Now, what's going to happen if you record a session live every day for 90 days and nobody comes? What do I care? I could care less if anybody comes or not. You know why? Because eventually I'm going to have 90 video recordings. And then when I go to the marketplace with those 90 video recordings, I'm going to have something. And I don't care if you don't have any affiliates, you don't have any partnerships. If you hit the market with that, right, you are going to get some attention. One of the things you can do with PLR, again, is a 90-day system. Because I guess what does it take? It takes X number of amount of time to make change, right? So you've got to have, I guess, what, like a 3-month cycle, and then that change is going to be permanent. So again, a 90-day challenge is something that, again, it can definitely be done. Self-help and productivity, right? Help people to get productive in 90 days. You're going to take the PLR and turn it into that. Do a 12-hour challenge. I've done that before, right? I did a PLR hackathon, you know, how to do PLR over 12 modules. You can do that, right? You can do a hackathon in anything. I was just thinking today, you know, if I was an expert in Udemy, I'd do a Udemy hackathon. So in other words, you're going to do 12 sessions, and by the end of those 12 sessions, I'm going to have my course on Udemy in your course. So again, all you're doing is you're taking the concept and you're flipping it, right? You're turning it. You're giving it you're giving it something specific, right? And then you're putting a time deadline on it, and it makes it a little more sellable, and it makes it a little sexier. Put a time system on it. And then you can do a 24-hour challenge. I haven't done that yet. I want to do that. All right. And then lastly, I've done a virtual summit before. I would say, you know, that's a way to kind of bring everything into a week's time. And you get some experts, and they can kind of bring your content for you, right? All you're doing is bringing the experts together. And there's a whole psychology and science behind the speakers you're going to get. But here's the key, right? Here's the key. Whatever your niche is in, be first to do it. Right now, it doesn't mean that I can't, somebody in our market can't do a PLR summit, but I did it first, right? And so you could be first in your niche, whatever it is, right? If you're going to do a virtual summit, do a virtual summit on Udemy. Do a virtual summit on, on fan pages, anything, right? Just do it time constrained. Again, all you're doing is turning the PLR into something specific and something time-based. Now, here's the stuff that's going to help you. You don't have to have all this stuff, but if you have 1 or 2 of these things, it's going to help you. Or whatever you have of these things is going to give you the advantage. So in other words, you do need to know the niche. So whatever you're going to do, if you're going to do a WordPress hackathon, you need to be an expert in WordPress. If you're going to be a Udemy hackathon, or you need to know the niche, right? If you're going to do, let's say, an HTML hackathon, you need to know HTML. So you got to know the niche. You got to kind of know what people are struggling with, and you have to know what you need to do to teach them. Now, here's the thing, right? And here's where the product snowball comes in. You need to be credible. So what makes you credible? Well, for some people, they like to see you write on stuff. Right now, in our market, I don't read a lot of people's blogs in our market. I don't know if you all do. I don't. You could have a blog. You could be a writer. You could have a podcast. So in other words, you're talking to product creators on a regular basis, but you need to have something. You could have a YouTube channel, right? And you could be talking about YouTube channel, and I still think that we're not at the point where you can only do Facebook Live, because people who do Facebook Lives, when they get done, they put them on YouTube. So you still need to have a YouTube channel. And here's where the product snowball comes in. I think you need to have a number of products in your niche. And so when you have a number of products in your niche, it says about you, it says something about you that I can trust this product, that I can trust a product that I'm about to buy because you've already produced these other ones. Doesn't mean I'll buy your other ones, but when I see that you produce some, so in other words, I can see that there's a product line here when I look at your whatever I'm looking at. So if I look at your website, you don't have to have them all on a website, but I can look at you and I can see that you have a product line. When you have a number of products in a line, that means then that you're trustworthy for me to buy your current product, right? So now, so again, when you're doing these little launches, don't worry about the fact that, let's say, they don't have a bunch of sales. Again, we're trying to snowball the effect.